What's up guys, CEO here with week 5 of the PU Battleground. This week we are taking on Super Nerd 92, coach of the Seattle Wingulls, soon to be the Seattle Sigalifts by the way. We are 3-1? Yeah, we're 3-1 after the really close battle with Epsilon last week. So I'm pretty excited to kind of keep going because even though we lost to Fluka kind of badly, we still kind of are in the running to be in the finals for this if we just kind of went out. So I put together this team in like 10 minutes, so unfortunately it doesn't even have nicknames or anything, but I'm pretty happy with the build that I had this week. First up is Slurpuff with a Focus Sash, Unburden, with Sticky Webs, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt, and Endeavor. Basically what this thing is meant to do, if you couldn't tell, is just get up webs and die, basically. His hazard removal is okay on this team since he does have Defog Sigalith and Rapid Spin Hitmonchan if he wants. But for the most part his team is actually kind of susceptible to webs because a lot of stuff's grounded and a lot of stuff that he has kind of relies on being naturally faster than stuff, and then if you scarf stuff on top of that then that's fine. But basically the goal for Sticky Webs is basically just kind of eliminate any benefit of Choice Scarfers that he might have, and then just be able to outspeed with the rest of my stuff. It's actually the second time in 3 weeks that I brought Focus Sash Endeavor lead, but last time it was Archeops, this time it's Slurpuff because I want webs over rocks for the lead. Then next up we have Como with Yachi Berry, Bulletproof, Close Combat, Ice Punch, Poison Jab, and Dragon Dance. I was really close to just making this a choice banded Como and just kind of spamming Close Combat all game, but I realized that being able to switch up moves might be nice, and being able to outspeed stuff if he gets rid of webs would be nice. One of the things that I pretty much always forget to do whenever I'm building with webs teams is to build stuff that's kind of naturally fast anyway, because you can't 100% rely on the webs, because if he just comes in and basically sacks Sigalith to defog or something like that, then my entire team is slower than his team again because I basically calc for everything with webs and webs aren't there. So helpful tip I guess if you're new and trying to play with sticky webs and stuff is to make sure you have stuff that kind of benefits from the webs but also make stuff that outspeeds naturally, like just so if the webs aren't there you aren't completely screwed. And between Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Poison Jab that basically just hits everything on this team, so kind of obvious coverage I guess. Next up is Mismagius with Darkanium Z Levitate, with Memento, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and HP Fighting. Darkanium Z Memento, if you don't know, basically kills Mismagius for the benefit of lowering the Pokemon that is trying to attack its attack and special attack by 2. And I get to switch into something, and then that something is fully healed up. So basically for the cost of sacking Mismagius, I get free setup with something. So the goal is to basically have Mismagius in against something like his Sigalith who's trying to defog or something like that. Go for a Z Memento, completely weaken it, and then go into Como and just set up and win, pretty much. Next up is Life Orb, Alola, and Persian, again with Fur Coat, just because I didn't really have anything that needed Technician really this week. With Nasty Pot, Dark Pulse, Thunderbolt, and HP Ice. I could have run Technician to boost HP Ice a little bit, I guess, but with Nasty Plot and Life Orb, it actually kind of did the damage I needed to do anyway. So I figured why not have double defense. Even though it's uninvested, I'm actually still able to take hits pretty well with Fur Coat, which is kind of cool. Next up is Volt with an Assault Vest and Levitate with Volt Switch, Bug Buzz, Air Slash, and Flash Cannon. Again, kind of just meant to hit everything on his team. Max HP, max special attack, and a little bit of Spidef, because Spidef is actually kind of naturally okay. So I just decided to be an offensive Assault Vest set and just try to do damage. Even though I'm uninvested with speed, it actually ends up kind of outspeeding a decent amount under webs anyway, which is kind of cool. And then finally, of course, we have Steelix with Leftover, Sturdy, Roar, Heavy Slam, Earthquake, and Stealth Rock. Max HP, max special defense to hopefully be able to take a non-grass type attack from like Roserade or something. Honestly, his special attackers this week are so strong that I don't really think being max Spidef actually did anything. But it was nice in theory, I guess. So, like I said in the beginning of the battle, oh wait, I actually have previewed the rest of Nerd's team. So on top of the team that Nerd brought, he also left behind Aromatisse, Durant, Porygon, regular Porygon by the way, it's a tier 5, Golurk, Rotom Fan, and Turtonator. So obviously the team that he brought is the Sigilyph, Sneasel, Hitmonchan, Clawitzer, Lycanroc Midnight, and Roserade. I pretty much predicted this team, honestly, because it's like the 6 scariest things that he has. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lead Slurpuff and try to get my webs up. He actually does even like probably the best lead possible for me, and just leads Sneasel because it's a dark type and I'm a fairy type. I expect him to switch out here, so I'm just gonna go for the webs. He instead poison jabs, which is fine, I guess. I'm just gonna slack Slurpuff here because I didn't first of all, I didn't expect him to just go straight for the poison jab. Second of all, I didn't expect him to not bring me down to my focus sash, which I guess it's a good thing that he didn't, because if he brought me down to sash and then poisoned me, it would have just killed me. But I have webs up, which was the goal for Slurpuff anyway, so I might as well just try to endeavor something. He kills me off, which is whatever, because then I just go Steelix. There's no universe whatsoever in which Sneasel beats a Steelix, I think, unless I'm like severely weakened already. So just, why not Heavy Slam, basically. He flings a Rare Bone, which is kind of funny. Honestly, I'm not sure if Knockoff would have done more than Rare Bone Fling, but it's fun to see. The PU Battleground's kind of more meant for like fun battles and stuff anyway, so it's kind of fun to see Fling, because you never really see Fling with just like a regular item, I guess. So now he goes Clawitzer. I don't really have a great switch into this, so I'm just going to go my Assault Vest thing. Even though I'm Assault Vest, I still take 42% from that. At first I thought he might have been Specs, but he actually told me after the game that he was Scarf, so that's just like natural Clawitzer damage, which is kind of nuts to me. I'm just going to Volt Switch out, because obviously Clawitzer is weak to it, and it covers the switch into Roserade, which you could have made there. By the way, I'm actually very surprised I didn't hit myself in Confusion, because I have terrible luck with Confusion. So I go Mismagius here because I actually have Psychic. Because he's under webs, he doesn't outspeed even if he's Scarfed, which is nice. And he doesn't really have anything that wants to switch into a Psychic, into a Shadow Ball. So like even if he does go Sigilyph here, I just Psychic, let him come in, and then Shadow Ball and kill him, basically. Psychic wipes out Roserade, which is super nice because now Steelix is even better. Like I said, I let this thing come in and just kill it anyway. So very quickly, by turn 7, he's already down to just 3 Pokemon. And at this point, because he has Hitmonchan under webs, and I have Mismagius here in already, he's guaranteed to not be able to outspeed. So at this point, I'm actually just going to try to do a little bit of damage with Psychic, take whatever hit he wants to go for, and then maybe Dark Sea Memento out and just kind of sweep from there. Psychic doesn't do very much because Hitmonchan actually has really, really good Spit F, and I think he's Assault Vest. And he actually shows the Throat Chop, which is pretty cool. Hitmonchan, that's, as far as I know, Hitmonchan's best Dark type coverage. And there's not really very much, like, it doesn't get knockoff or anything like that. So good prep for him. Nerd told me after the battle that he didn't even really know that Hitmonchan got Throat Chop until he was building for this team, like 5 minutes before our battle. So it's pretty cool that he was able to bring it, because I didn't really expect him to bring it, honestly. So Como is in now, because the only thing that this Hitmonchan can really hit me with to do any significant damage is Ice Punch. I have a Yachi Berry, so I'm just going to Dragon Dance. And as you can see, he goes for the Ice Punch. Because I have the Yachi Berry, it only does 30%. Even without the Yachi Berry, I would have very comfortably lived that, which is kind of nice. And at this point, unless he's sashed Lycanroc with counter, I'd win, basically. So I'm just going to close combat spam. Brings in Lycanroc, and as you can see, game's over because he didn't have sash. So pretty quick battle. Probably one of the quicker battles I've actually had on the channel, honestly. But I had kind of built this team in mind to just win and win fast, and luckily it did win and win fast. Alolan Persian never saw the field, but it actually had a pretty good matchup this week too, especially after Hitmonchan dropped. I could have basically just come in and nasty plotted and Dark Pulse swept from a lot of his team. Vikavolt was good, decent fodder, and Steelix would have just been there for backup if I needed to. Como is fucking amazing, by the way. All of these new moves that it got from Sun and Moon, or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, definitely helped it. I remember Epsilon had this last season and wasn't really able to do a lot with it because it didn't have Dragon Dance, it didn't have Close Combat, it didn't have the Elemental Punches. So like you're forced to just run like Special Como-O, which is okay but not great, or like Sky Uppercut, Poison Jab, or something like that, and just really weird, unnecessary set. So if you're wondering in other leagues and you haven't like played Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon enough to like mess with the tierings and stuff, Como is definitely at least a tier 2, possibly a tier 1, honestly. I'm not 100% sure how popular it would be in tier 1, but I could see the argument for it, because if it gets a Dragon Dance up, it's really scary. And I think it has like base 130 defense or something like that. So as you can see, it can take non-stab super effective moves pretty well, as long as they're not fairy type moves, obviously. But honestly, with how many steel types there are and how important they are for most teams, I don't really consider a fairy weakness to be that bad, personally. Like most draft league teams kind of focus on building around beating fairies most of the time anyway, because fairies are pretty overpowered typing. So if you can play around the fairy and stuff, Como is absolutely awesome. Definitely recommend drafting it to anyone who is watching this battle, I guess. So good news is I'm finally caught up on recording, so I don't have to keep bulk recording anymore. Next week is the last week of the Alolan Kahuna tournament, and we take on the Minnesota Volcaronas, coached by Rest in Peace HBK. I don't remember if we've ever actually like formally battled on the channel. I know he and I have had like a ton of practice games, and I've like battled against them like casually a million times, but I don't actually remember if we've really been scheduled as like opponents for each other. If we have, it's only been like once or twice. The reason I'm surprised about this, by the way, is because HBK and I have actually been in the league for a pretty long time together, and it just so happens that like we never really get scheduled to play each other. So it's gonna be fun. I haven't actually started prep for that or anything yet, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't either, so it's fine. So next week is going to be the last week of the PU Battleground, unless we come in first or second, in which case we'll have a finals game just to kind of wrap it up, I guess. And then on Saturday, January 20th, we're going to have our live draft for the NES Season 4. I haven't really talked to anyone about it to see if we're streaming it yet, or if we're just having a live draft and then doing recaps and stuff. But I'll let you guys know once we figure it out. Thank you guys for coming by. Drop a like and subscribe if you guys are interested in the content. If you see any Pokemon or sets that you want to see me try out or use or whatever, please let me know in the comments, because I am pretty receptive to comments, I think. Thank you guys, and have a good day. Bye.